YouTube, what is up? You already know the deal. I got the coffee. We're making the video before the gym. Pinkies up, motherfuckers. Let's get right into this video. So the single most important trait for any man. Now, I want to talk about why I actually picked this thing. I picked this thing because let's think about what every single guy wants in life, okay? Success, fame, money, sex. It's very simple. Not easy, but very simple. And there's one trait, one ability, one magic secret, one skill trait you can level up that will take care of a lot of that for you. It'll take care of a lot in just one skill trait. And that is the ability to be alone. To be able to just be by yourself, to feel those feelings of loneliness and all those things that happen when you're by yourself, that horniness, that feeling you get when you just want to just jerk it all off, jerk off the pain. Maybe watch some Brazilian girls online or something, whatever you're into, right? There's this inherent feeling of weight that comes on to us, men especially, when we're alone. And there's always this joke out there that people will say that, oh, he can't be alone. And he goes from one chick to the next, to the next, to the next, as far as relationships go. And what I feel is just this thing that not a lot of people really comprehend or pay attention to is this ability to just be by yourself. You don't got to talk to anyone, G. You don't have to express yourself to other people. You don't have to always tell everybody the truth and full honesty, right? What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of the times I feel we can get kind of caught up. At least I know I have in the past, and I know a lot of guys out there do. We get caught up in trying to be like an honorable, honest man. Because there's this narrative, especially that society puts on us, that we need to be men. And this is what men do. I take the path of the Ronin, the samurai that walks his own path, that builds and creates his own path, that doesn't let outside influence bother him. That, I feel, is the most important trait that any man can have. Because if you can handle being alone and you actually find pleasure and enjoyment and fulfillment from it, you don't need anything. And when we obsess and when we desire over certain things, we tend to not really get them. You ever think about that for a sec? If you're so obsessed over that promotion at work, and you're working all these hours, obviously you can get the promotion. But when you're obsessed about it and you're talking to your bosses and you're talking to your colleagues and you're talking about, oh, this is what I should be able to do and this is the things that I can do in order to get that promotion and this is why I should be and all of a sudden they hire the guy that shows up late. Fuck, isn't that nuts? Or you're talking to a girl. You guys have been chatting for a while. You know, maybe you guys have been... And all of a sudden you tell her how you feel. And you tell her that you like her. And that you're thinking about a relationship. And then she's long gone, B. She gone. Just like that, she gone. When she hears that shit, she said, I win. She said, bye. And then all of a sudden, she's on to the next guy. You know what's really interesting? If you guys ever seen the old classic Spider-Man, there's this exact scene that happens in the classic one where there's like Catwoman is like all over Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is like, yo, I'm like really busy right now, like trying to save the city. And she would just chase him and chase him and chase him. And then all of a sudden, he starts kind of being like, I've started to develop feelings for you. And right away, she starts chasing another guy. Right after that, she starts chasing Michael. This was like in the 90s or the early 2000s. They knew. They were aware. And we never knew. We just kept being told by our moms that we need to be nice guys. Oh, boy. So this was a trait that I really tried to develop over the past few years. Because I remember years ago when I was like really heavily into pornography use, I was very insecure and I worried a lot about what other people thought about me. I really did. And I would get lost into this thought process of, well, if I do this, what is this person going to think? And how can I make other people think that I'm cool? Oh man, sometimes that thought pops up back into my head now and it's just a total waste of fucking time. It's that ability to be alone. That's what makes life a lot better and a lot easier for all of us guys, because we go through struggles just like anybody else. And we have this really strange, look at like Bad Baby out there, whatever the fuck, Bad Barbie. The girl from the Dr. Phil who made like $1 million in 6 hours from her OnlyFans. There ain't no hope left, G. Oh, when I seen that, it just made me a little sad. I'm not gonna lie. It made me a little sad. Not that I'm jealous of her money. Obviously that'd be fucking awesome to just make $1 million in 6 hours. But what I'm upset about is how there's these guys that are just like, I'm so glad you're 18 now. Here, take the money. And it's like this really weird, we're like in this really weird time in society where like guys have no direction because they have this inability to listen to themselves. They can't just be with themselves for 20 minutes a day, right? So there's a few traits that help, and there's a few habits that I've done on a regular basis and that I've worked with some of my guys with that really makes a change in the way that you live your life, okay? And the good thing about looking at it as a place of behavior and habits and adding habits in is because when we add habits in, it's easier for us to remove our bad habits because we're replacing those habits and we're not just removing a habit. So what I mean by that is if you have the habit of maybe overthinking about what girls think about you, by developing the habit of meditation or working out or cold showers or journaling, some of the improvement things that I'm going to talk about, is that it will, as a result, remove that habit and add in a new habit rather than just saying, I'm not going to overthink what people think about me, right? It just doesn't really work like that. You have to actually do things throughout the day to change your bad habits. Really good book on this is Atomic Habits or The Power of Habit. Those are two amazing books that I definitely highly recommend reading. And I think reading is one of those things that are absolutely phenomenal for you because you need to just sit down and you need to just read and you need to just study and you need to just do it. And your brain is occupied in that act. And it builds a ability to focus in on a task for a duration of time. That's really the key, is to be able to sit and focus on getting things done that will then result in you being happier and more fulfilled in your life. Some of the habits that we're going to talk about, and I think the number one most important thing, firstly, is going to be meditation. There's a lot of different apps like Calm or Headspace. I personally use Headspace, and I believe that every man should be meditating for 10 to 20 minutes every single morning. So I can kind of share my routine. My routine when things are going well, and what I've been doing as of recently, I recently moved actually from New York to South Carolina, and it took a little bit of time to adjust, but now that I'm adjusted to where I live, I'm getting back into my positive behaviors. And I wake up, and I think just like anybody else, you don't want to get out of bed. And there's that feeling for a second. Then I get up, I take a cold shower, I meditate for 20 minutes, I come downstairs. My apologies, I don't come downstairs. Take my cold shower, drink water, by the way. Wake up, drink water, cold shower, meditate, and then I read. And then I come downstairs. I have myself a little coffee, do some journaling. And now I'm starting to make a video every single morning. And that's the goal that I really want to make for myself, is to make a video every day. To just try to share some of the things that are going through my journey and hopefully can help other guys out there. And I think by having a routine like that, it helps you get past the bad days. And I think especially when we're starting like our NoFap journey, I'm kind of getting back up towards 30 days now. I talked about in my first video, my different types of streaks and stuff like that, but I'm getting back into a nice steady rhythm. And some of those days, we all know, can be really tough, can be really freaking tough, can be really, really tough. Where you, like I said, you just want to bust, and there's not much really like saving you. So this is what I'm talking about with this one trait of being alone. If you can be alone in yourself and find fulfillment and passion in just yourself, and just find fulfillment in challenging yourself, just find fulfillment from writing down things and from journaling. And once you start to get those morning habits, all of a sudden now I'm about to go to the gym, and then we have some client work that we're going to work on. We're going to get some nice healthy meals. We got jujitsu later today, which is something that is really important to me. And by the time the day is done, I'm probably going to smoke a little weed, and then I'm going to be off to bed. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to wake up, and it's a little bit different on the weekends, but we got jujitsu in the morning. And then we're just going to be working and making money for the rest of the day after that. So what I mean by this is all these things, they make me really happy doing these things, and they can be difficult. And sometimes my brain goes crazy and I just need to jerk off. But I really do believe that the most powerful thing a man can do is control his lust. When you control your lust, you can handle being alone. And those habits that I'm talking about, especially like the meditation, helps you become aware of these negative things that pop up into your brain. And you can kind of say, you know what? It's just an irrational thought. And that's when you can then journal those things down and be able to move past that trauma that you're experiencing. That's especially connected to your NoFap journey. Every time that you want to relapse, you want to cheat on your diet, you want to skip a workout, it's because there's some sort of internal conflict. And that internal conflict is because of some subconscious wiring that happened when you were younger. And we're all going through shit. We all go through shit. Even the richest person goes through shit. The poorest person goes through shit. The fittest person goes through shit. The fattest person goes through shit. We all go through shit. Stress is relative. We all have our own problems. We all have our own demons that we deal with. And if we want to get to a point where, you know what, I'm sick of just sitting around complaining all the time and just wasting my energy away. When you decide that you want to take control and you say, you know what, I'm going to learn how to be alone. I'm going to learn how to live my life without women. I'm going to learn to live my life without super close friends, right? Because I moved, and then, when you move, or, you get a promotion, or you start making more money, or maybe you start banging another girl, or you start working on yourself, you're going to notice who's really for you. You're going to notice the friends, the people, the family that are really for you. You're going to find who's reaching out to you and checking in on how you're doing, rather than you being the one that's annoying everybody else. And that's just the damn truth. Because most people are just out for themselves anyway. So when you learn as a man to have that ability to be alone and to be okay with people judging you or not liking what you do, but you really want to do it, and it's something that is important to you and your purpose and your passion and your fulfillment, when you're able to just focus in on those things and you learn how to just get rid of that bullshit through positive habits, you're going to be set, G. You're going to be way more set. And the reason I can say this is because I remember when I was really deep into my no fat and I was like 120 to 150 days. At that point, I had like no urges at all. It was fantastic. It was like a spiritual awakening to how present I was around the world. And what ended up happening was I started getting with girls who were I got thrown pussy at me. Like, that never happened before. I mean, it got thrown to me because I was at that point, I was working at the gym. I had my own boot camp. Was doing online personal training. I was doing so much stuff that I literally did not give a shit about the girls. And I didn't even pay attention to them. I didn't even want to really hook up with anybody because I was just so in this semen retention, and I just felt so good by myself. I didn't really need it. And then all of a sudden, you got girls DMing me, girls coming up to me at the gym, girls trying to start conversation, girls asking me out on dates. Isn't that crazy how that works? Because a few months before that, I was overly obsessing about sex. And then all of a sudden you get to the point where you're not even thinking about sex at all. You're not even thinking about girls at all. And you're just focused on yourself. And all of a sudden they start throwing themselves at you. Throwing themselves. I mean, day one. If you know what I'm saying. So guys, that's the place that I'm trying to get back to personally. Because I knew that I fell off a little bit. And that's okay. Falling off is okay. Just don't give up. Get yourself back on track. Bring yourself back. This is what this is for. If we're listening in and we're all here together to help each other out and to improve, and we know we have a safe community to where we can talk about what we want to improve, then we will be more likely to stay on the path because we are surrounded by people who have similar goals and similar visions as us. And this is super critical because as you start to learn to be alone, then you're going to start to develop real, true friendships, real, true relationships that are actually productive and that don't make you feel like you're wasting your energy away. So guys, that's going to be the number one trait for all men to have, is to have the ability to be alone. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go to the gym and I'll talk to you guys soon.